Good morning, folks. Duncan here at Free as an Eagle, and I'm doing something a little unusual this morning. I'm actually on the road to go skiing at Jiminy Peak, and I woke up feeling inspired. I've been really thinking and kind of working toward counteracting what I see as a very terrible decline in the value system and the way our country operates, as has been evidenced recently in public ways, and I'm been quite disturbed by what Trump and Vance have been doing. I won't make any bones about it or hold it back. I'm really very much opposed to our abandonment of Ukraine and the condition of our country and the level of distrust and conflict. But anyway, I'll put that aside. My inspiration is simply to attempt as best as I can to stay on the positive side and have a positive impact on what's going on in the world. And it occurred to me over the last few days that I think the most effective thing I can do, in view of the fact that, to me, it's all a clash in ideologies and belief systems and what people think. So in a sense, I think of war, the physical sense of war is a primitive thing people resort to when they have no other means that they're aware of, or that they could do better, or they know they're unequipped to do better, and therefore they just resort to violence and being loud and aggressive, try to shout down and overpower the resistance to what they're doing. And very often these people are aggressors and motivated by selfishness and greed is the reason why they're doing what they're doing anyway, and they know there's going to be opposition, and they'll resort to force in order to suppress the opposition so they can carry out their selfish plans. So with that in mind, let me say this. I've watched this nation degenerate because of propaganda, lies, misinformation, and that type of thing. And then on the positive side, what I'm realizing now is that the best way to counter an ideological war, the best way to counter wrong ideas, wrong thoughts, a wrong ideology, an ideology that's based on selfishness and greed, and resorts to violence, is ultimately this is a war of ideologies, a war of ideas, and a war to me between those that are enlightened and those that are not enlightened and that are still operating in selfish, destructive ways. How do we fix this? How do we get past this? And it occurs to me that it's really a war of ideas. It's a war of thoughts and ideas. These thoughts and ideas are expressed through words. And the way that what I would say is evil, succeeded in this case is through propaganda, which propaganda is simply the use of words or the misuse of them to confuse, deceive people and lead them to believe things that are not true. And they've used psychological techniques of endless repetition and lies until people are so confused they don't know what's true. And then they become bewildered and baffled and believe the lie if it's repeated often enough. So that is how that side operates. And my belief system on how to counteract this on a grassroots mass scale is simply, let's do reverse propaganda. And I don't mean just putting out a lot of trite things that aren't really going to be effective. The fact is, in the end, the truth is going to win out. You shall know the truth shall make you free. And there's a lot of truth out there that can be employed. And rather than just writing letters, postcards to our congressmen and making phone calls, leaving messages, which are all effective, or even doing signs and all, and protests, is if we begin to look at and break down what we consider to be a good value system and go back and let's start putting that out there. Let's start reverse propagandizing. Let's get the truth out there. Let's get the positive things out there that will enlighten people. Because one thing occurred to me a few weeks ago too, is that an assassin's bullet can stop a person, it can shut them up, can shut them down and make them ineffective by way of removing them, but it doesn't enlighten anybody. In fact, attempts to assassinate people will lead to those people becoming martyrs, which is the last thing we want to do, is martyr somebody that's espousing wrong ideas and doing violence and doing evil. So in a sense, we need to resort to a higher level of a strategy. And if we can win people over to a better way of thinking, then they won't need to be neutralized in this way, and we can win people over. And there's a lot more of us that want to live peacefully and that believe in supporting and trusting and investing in one another and making life better for all of us. I believe that we can overcome this by quoting people that have said brilliant things, doing things that are good, emphasizing not just the positive in a Pollyanna way, but let's get the truth out there. Let's get the positive values out there. Let's put out there what we want to actually see happen. I was actually listening to some JFK speeches that were on YouTube, and I've been posting a lot on social media because that's become my outlet, because I realize this is a war of words. Words convey ideas. Ideas are what control people's thinking in their minds and what they do. So this is kind of the battlefield. It's in the mind. And I know it doesn't sound as courageous or amazingly powerful as physical warfare, but in the end it is a battle for the mind, and that's what's going to go on. We're spirits, and I believe we're going to outlive our bodies and outlive this world and this particular life and carry forward what we've learned and what we've done, seen, and experienced. So my belief system is that the best thing we can possibly do is fight the battle in the arena of the mind. It's the final frontier. It's the one place that we can reach people with ideas and sell them a better way of life, a better way of thinking than they might presently be engaged in. So rather than taking up weapons and crude means of that sort, I think we're far better off thinking this through and putting out what's the truth and what are better ideas, and in doing so trying not to alienate the people we're trying to reach by just throwing back what they're throwing at us. In other words, they might be coming at us with negative ideas and accusations and hostilities. If we return that, then we're really, we're fighting with their weapons. We're not going to win doing that. They're better at being evil and propagandizing, lying, and doing whatever else they're doing. They're better at that stuff. We're better off perfecting a strategy that actually might penetrate some of this. And granted, we're not going to reach everybody, but if we amass ourselves together as a group of people that believe in a better way of life and a better value system, and we impart that, and we use repetition, nothing wrong with that if it's true, repetition and other methods of getting this out, whether it's through social media, speeches, protests, signs, whatever. Let's get the truth out there. Let's remember what our goal is. We want to have a better, more civilized society. We want peace. We want to promote love. We've got to think about this. Like, I've been annoyed with the Democrats for being what I consider highly ineffective and allowing the last election to go the way it went, to allowing all this crap to happen. I don't think we had a strategy or a plan. And while they put together their plan, had their goals, and they effectively used propaganda and lies to get where they got, I think we can counteract that by promoting what's true and right and appealing to what in people is better. And in other words, let's appeal to people's consciences, people's thoughts, people's aspirations and goals. Because I've been thinking myself, and I've been doing some considerable studying over the last couple of years into near-death experiences and what I could learn from that, and it changed my own value system into realizing that we are all connected, and in the end we all will reap what we've sown, and we will. I'm just making a turn here, so I'm getting distracted. This is a little bit of an illegal thing I'm doing right now, probably, but I don't care, because I'm paying attention and I really want to get this out before I forget any of it. But anyway, I lost my train of thought there for a second. But in other words, if we can get out our value system and impart it to other people and appeal to what's good in them versus just being hostile and fighting on their terms, I think we'll be far more effective than we will by any other form of warfare, especially in any kind of violence or just yelling or shouting or doing things that would alienate people and not win them over. We need to appeal to what in them is still good. And if we can do that, if we can win them over by appealing to I know what I was saying. Okay, I was talking about near-death experiences and my value system having changed. And I truly believe now that Jesus said, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. People at their life reviews see how their lives and actions affected others. That's probably the most effective form of teaching I can imagine, to see in person as if it was you receiving the actions that you've done to others. If you actually experience as the people that you've affected, what you've done and how it affected them, that's an indelible lesson. And people that have come back from having experienced that on the operating table or in an accident scene, having seen their life flash before them in actual detail, and in that way where they experience what they've done to others, I can think of no more effective education in terms of what people are going to come away with in terms of having realized what life is really like. We're all connected. We're all one, and what we do to another person, we're actually doing to ourselves. I firmly believe that. We are the other guy. We're the person that we affect, and that changes us when we realize we're really doing to ourselves what we do to others. And if you want to have a better future, that's why it's wise to think in terms of doing unto others as we would have them do unto us. We're going to reap what we've sown. I mean, the Bible is kind of a big collection of ideas and thoughts and words, and some people believe it's the Word of God. Other people totally believe it's not. But I think there's a lot of wisdom and a lot of quotes in there, and the near-death experience world actually supports the idea there are angels, that Jesus is on the other side, and he's an ascended master among a number of ascended masters, which is simply a way of saying that people that have become enlightened over time and have really sought the truth and found it. And that's my goal, to become enlightened and find the truth, because that's just the way I'm set up. I really need to know. I want to know. That's more important to me than anything else, to really understand life and what it's for. So, again, my plan and hope is to really learn more and share it, find ways to get the truth out there, and that will be the thing that overcomes what I would call evil, or the lies that govern people that operate in a more primitive manner and are unenlightened. And I'm not judging them. We're all different places in life, and we're all learning. And I believe our purpose on this earth is to learn and to love and support and build up others to make their lives better, because the more we contribute to the good of others, the more we contribute to our own good and the good of society. So if we can contribute to the good of society and to the good of others, then life gets better. If we're out for ourselves and taking from others and being greedy and exploiting others, we're really doing damage to everybody, including ourselves ultimately. So anyway, so I can get off this phone before I drive by a cop and get stopped. I'm going to stop this video. I'll post it later when I have the time, but I wanted to get these ideas out, and I think it's important that we move ahead to do something positive in the view of the situation we're in now. So have a good day. Hope I gave you a few ideas to think about. If you have any feedback or input, by all means feel free to share it. Thanks, and have a great day.